okay, like things are getting,
This meeting is being recorded.
I was hearing that a lot of loans can't go through now.
Well, that's kind of interesting that you heard that. What kind of, where were you hearing that? Just on the news or
On
what
the
were you
news,
hearing?
yeah, on the news.
I would say I'm seeing like we run our loans, and all lenders do this, through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, like if it's a conventional loan.
Yeah.
And I have seen where they've tightened things up a little bit, because some loans that I didn't think were going to be an issue were an issue. So I had to flip them to an FHA loan. So it was mostly with like old derogatory credit, where they just didn't like it. Like if it was a small down payment, like 3% or something like that. So I did an FHA loan for them. So I was, yeah, that was a surprise. You know, they kind of don't tell you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, yeah, they had some old stuff, but not really a big deal. But then, you know, it just depends on the whole character of the whole file and whether there's like a lot of reserves. But so, yeah, sometimes things get a little interesting, but I haven't had one where I couldn't get the customer a loan. So
yeah,
we just had to.
that's
like,
great.
tweak
No,
it.
because they are saying what's going on. Somebody just texted, I think it's Campbell. I've missed these last few meetings. I've been busy, but thinking about everyone. That's from Campbell.
I know, because I was texting her because I haven't been able to reach her, you know, and she's in Utah, so it's not like I can just drive to her house. But believe me, if I couldn't get hold of her, I'd be driving to Utah. Drove there once, I can do it again.
You're so funny. No, they were saying on the loan thing that because the interest rate suddenly went up without notification, so they have a lot of contracts, what the price, agreed price, then they couldn't, you know, work it out.
Well, that is very true. It is very challenging for a lot of buyers that were in like maybe the lower price ranges, like the 200, 300, 350 range. That's a very tight range, and people that were qualified kind of to their max at whatever 4%, and now we're 5-6%. Some of them couldn't buy, or they had to really cut back what they could qualify for. So that has been challenging. So that's been hard for that bracket. Like somebody that wasn't, you know, trying to buy their max had wiggle room, and you know, their payment is higher, but they still qualify. But if you know, if they were at their max and then rates went up, then they have to go into a lower price range. And in some areas, there is nothing lower. You know, there's a lot of areas in, you know, Maryland and Virginia, DC, where there isn't anything that's 200 or 250 or 280. You know,
I mean, Silver Spring, when we were looking for housing at the time, and this is 2018, the cheapest we saw was like 380 at the time, and we were like, you know, so we went to just see what it is, because we were curious what is the low, you know, low end.
It was probably something that needed a lot of work.
It
did. A lot of love. Needed a lot of love.
And lots of, as a matter of fact, it had a good parcel of land, and it was a corner property and had a lot of space you could build, you know, but it had serious love, required lots of love.
Yeah, so those are a lot of the houses that people see that might be in their price range or like, but they're not quite livable. You know, it needs like a full rehab or something.
Mhm.
So, and we do rehab loans. So people that do want to rehab, maybe they can find something and be able to, you know, renovate it. I do have a couple customers that are looking in that price range so that they can renovate it, which is fun. I love to renovate. I love to renovate.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, we don't have a problem. This house that we bought, it was priced at 470, but it was it needed so much TLC also. But the parcel of land is really amazing amount of land comes with it, which that is workable, you know, it's like not just,
Yeah.
you know, because sometimes they say like 1 acre, but it's useless acre because it's like on the hill or something.
It's like on a mountain.
Yeah, yeah, it slides down. So anyhow, but this was really from that perspective, and a lot of the problems it had was more cosmetic.
Yeah.
We felt like it's not.
Yeah, and just with a good imagination, and you take your time and you do a project at a time. That's what I've always done. Then it turns into a beautiful property that you
Yeah.
build equity in because you know you're fixing it up. So it's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do. So I hope that more people go into that because I love helping people do renovation loans. They're really fun. They're pain, but they're fun. A fun kind of pain.
Yeah, is it hard to get because of it being a renovation loan?
Maybe a little bit. Little, yeah. But we also have the FHA renovation loan. So I have the Fannie renovation loan and the FHA renovation loan. So usually one or the other works. So, you know, I always help people get into their house. We find a way to help them out.
You are great. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So tell me, how was your week? How'd your week go?
So the week was kind of, I lost about half a pound more, you know, which is not a lot. So I don't know.
It's going in the right direction, right?
Yeah, it's going in the right. So I have questions for you. First of all, next week I cannot attend the meeting, and the reason is, you won't believe, this is so exciting. You know, the tennis player, Rafael Nadal, the great tennis player, his camp is coming to our, or his instructors from his camp are coming to our club here.
Wow.
To train. So I signed up for it. So the whole week from 4 to 6 p.m. And I'm sure I'm going to after that pass out. 2 hours. No, not first. I'm sorry. There's 2 sessions, 4 to 6. I signed up for 6 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
It is. They have a session, so I'm going to get to play.
Well, that is super exciting.
2 hours of tennis per day.
Wow. Very good. And now, will you meet him, or are you just meeting like his training group?
Just a training group. I seriously doubt if he's going to come.
Well, maybe he'll make a sneak appearance, but maybe you can get, maybe they have some signed autograph stuff that you'll get or something.
Well, I was hoping he would come for, because it's City Open is in the area. So I was hoping he would come for that. Maybe he stopped by, but City Open kind of starts end of July. So he will, and he's injured, so I'm sure he won't be playing. So no, I doubt if he comes. He got injured in Wimbledon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got a tear in his abdomen, muscle tear.
Oh, wow. That sounds painful.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's so exciting to work with his coaches and stuff and get
I know.
You know, instruction. That's awesome. So congratulations. That's going to be really fun.
I know, but so I have a question for you. When because I have increased my pickleball and tennis,
Uh-huh.
do you find yourself when you're exercising more like, and this is rigorous exercise I'm talking about, like we do 2 hours of heavy
Mm-hmm.
duty running for the ball after a ball, and do you find you having a harder time losing weight for somehow some weird reason it
Yeah, it does
tends to,
slow it down. It does
yeah,
slow it down, which is totally weird to me. I couldn't
yeah,
figure that out because you're burning more calories, but
yeah,
it's something to do with your body. And I'm certainly not a scientist or a doctor, but what I've read about it and what I was told about it, because even on another different plan that I was on, they really didn't want me to exercise at all. And I was like, I haven't not exercised since
yeah,
forever, like forever. I can't ever
yeah.
even remember it. My dad used to take us up to the track when I was a little kid and we would run. So I don't know. Um, but they said it slows it down because like you're asking your body to like to do two different things, and you're kind of
I bet you it's,
lowering your calorie intake to let the weight count come off, but then you're pushing your exercise and you're expending more energy, so your body is really conserving more because it knows you're expending more. But you will lose. I lost, but I lost slowly. I still lose slowly. And then maybe it's because I still exercise. I wouldn't put myself in the vigorous exercise category anymore, but I do sit-ups and push-ups and stretches, and then I usually do about 40 to 50 minutes of cardio.
that's great. That's great. No,
So
yesterday, 2 days in a row, I mean Sunday, Monday. Saturday it rained out. I was planning to play tennis, but it didn't work out. But Sunday, so I went for a walk. Whenever the days that I don't do tennis
mhm,
or pickleball, I go for a walk with the dog, and but a
mhm,
long one.
yeah.
But anyhow, I both days I played 2 whole hours of rigorous pickleball, and I mean we are our group is pretty darn heavy duty about their.
Yeah, that's awesome. But some weeks you'll lose more and some weeks you'll lose less, but it does definitely slow it down. It's just a body like survival mechanism so that
Yeah,
you
I
keep
think
going.
I think I read in her book that well, basically what you're kicking into when you're exercising is to burning the reserves that you have, and somehow or another I have to reread that section.
Yeah, so
But
they say that but I never tried it because exercise to me is also like to
therapy.
yeah, thank you. That's the word. Because, I work a very stressful career and it gives me like an outlet, and it gives you those endorphins and it just gives you a lot. So I keep exercising. So I thought maybe when I exercised a little bit less, I'd lose faster, but I don't seem to. It just seems to come off kind of slowly anyways. So I don't know if but I've never stopped exercising.
Oh no,
I don't really know
I
about.
can't. Because to be honest, I had to stop for 3 months for my shoulder. I had a shoulder injury and it was driving me crazy. I just felt this stress, built up stress that I
Yeah,
was
it
like, I
stresses
need,
me out when I don't
yeah.
exercise. Like even when I was like, oh, Sunday, I'm going to take off because I've been really doing so much and I've never taken a down day. And I was like, that didn't work out so well.
That's,
It drove me mentally crazy. So I was like,
yeah.
oh, well. So just keep going, keep doing it. So how are you feeling like physically and mentally, like your attitude? Are you seeing changes there?
So I honestly, I haven't had sugar, and I don't have a craving for it. I mean, it's bizarre that, because I thought I'm going to like have a major craving for sugar and all. It's not there. I'm like, okay, I'll live with this because this is good.
It's
Because
really
if I can,
amazing.
yeah,
And
it's like
like,
what you tell yourself that you can't do, and then when you do it, you're like, that's not hard.
I know that's why I try to tell people like the reason they're saying that is because they're addicted to sugar. That's the addiction talking. It's really not that bad. Like
Yeah,
once in a while you have a habit, you have a trigger, like a cue that kind of
yeah,
gets you thinking about like an old, like a holiday, or
yeah,
something like your family did, or when you go out to a barbecue, or so you get like some triggers like that, but it's not really that you're like, oh, I have to have sugar. It's just that you have like
yeah,
a cue because you have some history
yeah.
with it, so it's more like a habit thing.
Mhm.
But you just have to build up the muscle to say, I know how that tastes. And it's really just sweet. Like all those things kind of taste the same. They just taste sweet. But,
Mhm.
and then just not like giving in to that cue,
Yeah.
that trigger that kind of gets your head thinking about it.
But I,
Occasionally you give in, occasionally, most of the time that if you don't give in, most of the time it's better because, when you go down that slippery slope.
yeah. So I have a question. There, I have found this one bread. It's one of those Arnold Oats brand. And you know how she says that if the sugar, and there's no added sugar, and then the sugar that it says is like the seventh or eighth ingredient on the bread. Can you still eat that type of bread or not?
I don't think so, because I think it has flour. I think the only bread that is on the Bright Line plan is Ezekiel bread.
Ziki? Z,
Ezekiel bread. It's like an ancient bread. You can get it at Trader Joe's.
okay.
I have never tasted it. I can't tell you, but I know
Eh,
that I think is in the Bright Line eating plan, Ezekiel bread, but it's like an ancient type
yeah.
bread, and I don't know how they make it. But and the other thing that's not a bread, but it's a cracker, is Triscuits.
Okay. Oh,
But I have to tell you, for me, Triscuits are a trigger because when I eat one, I just want to eat the whole box.
oh, okay.
So
I'm not that, because they're very dry. I don't like them
they're
too
very
much.
dry, but it's the salt on it that gets me. Like I get
That's it.
triggered because it's snacky and it's salt. Once in a while I'll have them, but I buy the Triscuit thins, because you get more of them, and then I can kind of stop because I think you get 13 of them for an ounce or whatever it is. So once in a while I'll do that because I can get so many of them. Or the minis, you can get a lot of the minis. So I try to do it that way because it gives me quantity.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if an ounce of the regular ones is 6. What,
Yeah.
6? Like, kidding me? 16, but not 6. So I watched one of her vlogs and it talked about quantity, and I realized, oh my God, I'm a quantity person. Like,
I think I am too.
I
I
just
think
want
that
like
is what our
more
problem is.
quantity. I want more. So just watch your triggers, because I can eat regular nuts like a pecan or a walnut and just measure my ounce and I'm perfectly fine. Salted peanuts, salted nuts, no, I just want to eat the whole damn jar.
That's
So
funny.
I know that that's a trigger for me. So same with peanut butter. not good at measuring peanut butter. I just want to take my carrot and eat a lot.
I'm a cheese person. I like cheese. But
Yeah.
those string cheese are nice little packaged cheese.
Yeah, you can
size.
have cheese. Cheese is on there, but I don't. Well, I know you're allowed to have. Is it 4?
Like
No.
4 ounce, I think, or
Oh.
2 or 4 ounce, somewhere around
Yeah, I
there.
can't remember. I know nuts is 2 ounces, and I'm not sure about cheese. Cottage cheese, I thought you could have 4 ounces.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%.
I do. I like cottage cheese actually.
I know. I was contemplating cottage cheese because I have cantaloupe cut up, and I really like the two together. But I didn't think it would be as satisfying to me as having my oatmeal with my nuts and my fruit. So,
so what I like is cottage cheese with so I put a little bit of the dry cereal, whatever it's, because you're supposed to get that type of grain for your breakfast. But I don't put too much though. I don't like that much. And then I put grapes. I cut grapes in half. Whatever.
Then you get it. It's a little crunchy. Yeah.
It's crunchy and sweet taste of it mixes well with cottage cheese.
Yeah, sometimes I put an ounce of cottage cheese in my oatmeal as part of my protein, and then I have some nuts, and I like it that way, but I don't usually just eat the straight cottage cheese because for me, it's just not quite as satisfying, like mentally. I think it's because you don't have to like chew as much.
Yeah.
It doesn't last as long. So when you have the oatmeal and you have the nuts and the little bit of cottage cheese and the fruit in there, it takes longer.
Yeah.
It's like a bigger quantity. See, it's back to that quantity thing. It's like I have to have like
chewable quantity.
Yeah.
No, the funniest thing is I got this kale salad from it was Balducci. I went and stopped by there. And it was really nice kale salad. And it is chewable. I mean, you have to chew a good 3 minutes nonstop to make it digestible.
Yeah, I was eating lunch the other day and my husband, Gary, was waiting for me. And I'm like, this is going to take a minute. You cannot eat a salad. It takes me 20 minutes to eat it at least. And it's measured and everything by 6 ounces. But it's a lot and it takes a long time to chew it. So I find that very satisfying because you just get that chewing experience and it took a long time. So that's why I don't like things that go fast. Like
I do have to confess, so this last week, because Bill wanted some bread and I got the wheat. So, but I used 1 slice of bread instead of 2. I made a sandwich and made 1 slice, cut it in half. But it was like really low sugar, but it wasn't the Zeke one. It was that oat brand.
Yeah, so it probably had flour in it. I mean, I think if you did it once in a while, like, probably wouldn't be the end of the universe. He can probably do it. You just have to watch out if you can do it. He can probably do it because my husband will have bread sometimes once a week or something. He'll even have ice cream and some, because I told you he's about 75%.
Yeah.
And he's as light as he's still a big guy, but he's a lot lighter than I guess he's probably about 275, and he was up to like 315, which he was way too big, but at 275, he's really good. And he still has some stuff once in a while. Sometimes he eats less quantity than I do because I'm having like whatever 12 ounces of vegetables and stuff. But then he'll have a dessert and I don't have the dessert.
Yeah. No, I mean, Bill has been good. We both don't have, once he said, wouldn't that be nice to have ice cream? I said, don't even talk about it. Why are we torturing ourselves? Let's stick to the plan.
I've actually scooped Gary's ice cream for him.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like, But if I'm like in a like vulnerable, I'm like, honey, I'm vulnerable today. So I have to ask you
Don't ask
to
me.
either not have it or you're gonna have to go get it yourself because it just sounds too good. Or so I have said that a couple times where I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to see it, you know. And one
Yeah.
night this week, I went to bed early because I was feeling a little on edge, but I had been good. I'd been really good. And I was like, no, I'm just going to go to bed early because I don't even want to think about. And then I had the most, I don't know, I wasn't fully asleep, but I had a thought about like, wow, why would I like go off my lines? Like, why would I go off my bright line and hurt myself? I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing this for anybody else. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm really beginning to feel really good again. Like my energy is coming back. And I'm like, I don't want to hurt me because I'm
Yeah.
important and what I'm doing is important. And I don't want to stop doing it. So these stupid ideas to like that want to pull you off track, I was just like, no, I'm not going off track because this is my choice, my decision, and I'm saying I want to stay on my plan because I enjoy it and I feel better. And it really like kind of hit me like a big brick. I was just like, I
That's
really
great.
feel better. I feel good. I know I'm doing the right thing. My body is getting happier.
And telling you that you're doing well.
I've gone down a couple pounds in the last 2 weeks. So that's good. Like I feel, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to, even if I had that thought, it's just a thought and I don't have to go after it. I don't even have to think about it anymore. So I was like, to the curb
So,
with you, you crazy thought.
so a question, do you write your menu of what you're going to eat the next day every night or because
Sometimes
I honestly
I do have my little notebook.
uh-huh.
Sometimes I do write it down. I haven't written it down this week so far, but I did have a plan in my head, but I do like to write it down. I was writing it down and then I was tracking my weight, but I got a simple little weight app on my phone, and when I weigh myself, I put it in and then it's graphing it for me. And I think that that's helping too.
That's a great idea. Yeah, no, so because honestly, we have converted our refrigerator to having bright line type of food, veggie, lots of veggies, like meat in the freezer and chicken and lean beef and stuff like that. And or we buy fresh seafood. We don't like frozen or anything seafood, so it has to be. If we buy it, we eat it that same day. But we really, I used to have Bill specials. It was mine was funny. I used to have like 5 different types of bread there, like breakfast bread, this kind of bread, that kind of bread. And now we just have that one that I got the other day. And but other than that, our refrigerator is kind of geared toward what is correct to eat for Bright Line.
Yeah,
So
I
then
had a lot of food. Pardon?
I don't write it down. I'm just kind of in the like, what am I in the mood for right now, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I think it's a little better if we write it down, but sometimes I've had to switch like what I wrote down because maybe Gary ate it for breakfast like he did the other day. It's like the craziest breakfast. Like it's like a dinner. And I'm like, isn't that kind of like dinner? I could see it for lunch, but I couldn't eat like whatever that for breakfast, but he does. So, but yeah, I think it's best to write it down. And I definitely know that's what they would say, you know, in a boot camp or whatever, they would definitely say to write it down. But I kind of know, like, I mean, I do measure and stuff, and everything in my refrigerator is for the plan. And I had a lot of already prepared food. So I knew what I was going to eat all week because, you know, I made like big stuff and I have to eat it. Otherwise it's going to go bad. So I didn't like, but I do try to write it down because I feel like it's better for me to prepare and make that plan in my head. But sometimes I do switch it up. Like, you know, if I thought I was going to have oatmeal and I decided to have scrambled eggs, you know, I think that's fine as long as those things don't trigger you, like they don't cause, you know, you want to go astray, or you know, it doesn't throw up kind of like bad habits or bad thoughts in your head.
Yeah, I think bread is the hardest for me to get over. I mean, I can see this is my struggle.
You're just starting, you're brand new in this, so you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. Like, I didn't go straight into Brightline. I was doing some other things. It's just that they weren't working for me long term. Like, they worked for a while, but it was a grind, like a terrible, terrible grind. And
yeah,
you're
you mentioned,
like, you read about willpower. Well, you know, I can't use up that much willpower and then still get all this other stuff done. So
yeah,
this my mind is free and clean. You know, now that I'm like really tightened up my lines again, I can feel like my brain is calm again. My brain, like, I'm not having food thoughts, and so I have more time and more energy and more focus to focus on like important stuff. And I think that's like one of the beautiful things about Brightline that I really love.
yeah.
Like, it
Well,
cleans up
I
the
like
brain
the
matter.
simplicity of it. I like the simplicity of, don't just eat these two things. And you know, there's so much options out there outside of these two things that have to be in your food. So just don't. And it's easier to adhere to.
When you're on a journey, and just stay on the journey, and you'll get better and better and better at it. And then, you know, maybe it will take a while for you to completely get away from the bread, if the bread is more of a thing for you.
It's a simple slap it on thing. I know I bought the lettuce. Funny enough, I have bought the lettuce to do the lettuce thing, but I haven't done it yet. I'm still like, bread, bread.
Well, maybe, I know if Campbell were here, she prepares her meals in the evening for the next day.
Wow.
She prepares her breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow, she is organized.
Yeah. Wow. So that's because one of her things is that, like, you know, she has a boyfriend, and she goes to his house a lot, and family, and, you know, eating. So she's just bringing her meal with her so that, you know, they eat what they eat. And so that was helping her stay on her lines without like putting a burden on them, or them feeling, because they were trying, but it's like, she's like, let me just bring my meal and I'm, you know, and I'm good. Like, don't. So yeah. I know she's still working her way through that, but anyways, and then she brings her lunch and stuff to work. And, you know, we know at work, a lot of times lunchrooms are very not safe spaces.
Yeah, I know.
I know my work when I went into the office with a lot of people, there were always cookies and donuts and yada, 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 who knows, pizza. Or they buy, oh, I'm covering a lunch for everybody. And before you know it, like 3 pizzas and a cake were in the kitchen. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, like on Tuesdays, I have to go to work in person because we have a meeting. But I found out, when around lunchtime, I get home. I mean, I could take my own food, but they have hard-boiled eggs. I just go get 2 hard-boiled eggs and I'm good for the day.
When we're traveling to the shore and stuff, if I don't make my oatmeal to bring along, we stop at Wawa and I get 2 hard-boiled eggs, or I get their egg bites and a banana and a cup of coffee, and that's my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And hard-boiled eggs work great.
They really do. They do. It's like a nice little packaged meal.
Right.
Ready.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. You can get that, have a piece of fruit, and you're good. You're good. It's easy and it hangs with you for a while, even though the eggs are small.
So one more question. So sometimes around lunch, I am not that hungry. I mean, I even because like these breakfasts we eat, because of the cereal thing I mentioned, that really fills me up so much that like by 1, I'm still not hungry. 2, I'm kind of not hungry and stuff. So like I end up eating hard-boiled egg. Like today was one of those hard-boiled egg, but I don't eat anything else. Is that I know that she has that, like you should eat protein and stuff, but is that like okay?
Now, I mean, for a while, I found that I lost weight faster if I didn't have the fruit at lunch. I just had fruit at breakfast. And I'm doing that a little bit off and on. I haven't gone to straight no fruit because I have a lot of fruit in the refrigerator, so I don't want it to go bad. But I think once it's done, I'm gonna probably not have the afternoon fruit because I think I'll lose weight a little bit faster without having that extra fruit. I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
Especially like I eat lunch later too, because sometimes like today I wasn't hungry. I didn't eat lunch till like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But that's good. Isn't that good? Because your breakfast really
fills me up.
Yeah, it's like the biggest breakfast. I had I had potato was my grain, and I didn't even have 4 ounces. They were roasted potatoes. I only had like 3 ounces and 2 scrambled eggs and my fruit. And I was full.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to know that the quantity is actually pretty yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big.
And if you actually, and sometimes I have a slightly bigger salads because I don't want to eat 14 ounces of vegetables at dinner time. And sometimes I don't normally, usually 10 on a big night, it's like 12, but I don't even know if I've ever eaten 14 ounces. But it's a lot. And then if you have that second salad at dinner and then ate the vegetables, that's a lot of food.
It is.
Gary couldn't even eat 14 ounces of vegetables.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
We will be grazing like cows.
Yeah, so you do get that chewing satisfaction, but I love it. It's great. So keep it up. Keep going.
Thank you.
And make sure that you give yourself, like, it's a journey, like you're going to be taking steps, and we don't have to be perfect, but you're still going in the right trajectory, and you're learning new skills and new ways of like cooking, like new recipes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally different than how like the fast food world instant food, all that stuff. So, enjoy it, have fun, be kind to yourself,
You
and
too.
yeah, and know that like you're learning, like I've been learning this and getting better all the time. So just, keep it up. And it works, but it makes you feel great as you're going down.
Yeah.
It's great. And if you have any friends that want to join us, then, let me know. We'll send them the link.
I told a couple of my friends and they are like, oh, I don't know if I can. Like you said, when you told me it took me a year to read the book, I figured when they're ready.
Yeah, you just keep, when you start going down, they're going to be like, what is this again?
Yeah.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I didn't read the book. Phoebe asked me, probably offered me maybe, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 times before I was like, what was the name of that book? Because something isn't working for me. Same with Campbell. She didn't jump in. She's like,
Well, it was so funny because after you left, I immediately bought the book, but it was sitting next to my bed for that whole entire year. And I'm like, looking at it, and I'm like, one of these days I'll look at you.
One of these days I'm gonna read it. Yep, that's how it does. It's fine. So just, keep, when your friends ask, you just keep offering. And then one day they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. Like, how bad could it be? You're still alive.
Yeah. It really is amazing how much you have to just think a little more creatively about food, just because even the concept of fruits are by nature sweet. So if you really need that sweet in your day to day, just replace that with your, not overdo it.
Not only is it sweet, but it's delicious. It's so amazing. Like, I had the most amazing blueberries this morning. They were out of this world. They were just so delicious.
We just bought this watermelon that was just perfect. I mean, it was just perfect.
And you're just like, this is like real, just delicious sweet, not just like sweet. And then you're, got crazy cravings and your brain goes crazy. So yeah, God had the perfect plan. And he put the food on the planet the way he wanted us to eat it. And then all we have to do is do a little weighing and measuring and get creative and have fun with it. So it's awesome. It's really awesome. So have a great week. Oh, I won't see you next week, but have a great 2 weeks. But
I will text you, say how I'm doing with stuff.
Yeah, text us. But if you need like a call, just call me on the phone. Okay.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much.
Have fun with your tennis. I know that's going to be exciting.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Enjoy. Bye-bye.